At Vision Development, it is so important for us to realize that the viewpoints of the community is what matters the most.
Urban Plan is a program run by ULI, Urban Land Institute, in which the kids are tasked with redeveloping a fictitious part of the fictitious city, Yorktown. It's a 6-block radius where the students are tasked to redevelop this section of town and to meet what's called a request for proposal, an RFP from Yorktown, where they have a number of interested community groups that obviously want certain things in the redevelopment. So the students work over a 6-week period of time where they're taking and working with each other in different roles to redevelop this particular section of town named Elmwood. During that process, there's 2 different times, we call them facilitations, where the students will meet with volunteers from ULI who are actually real professionals in these roles, marketing directors, site planners, neighborhood liaisons. And they come in and they critique the students on their plans. The students go back to the drawing board, take some of that critique, come back to another facilitation, get critiqued yet again, and do the same thing to where they get ready to present that plan to our fictitious town council, which is actually made up of real town council members, ULI members, and Mayor Cohen. It's very hands-on. Students are practicing very worthy skills in the sense of public speaking, cooperative learning in the sense of working with one another, but then of course getting to present this plan to a fictitious yet real town council and get feedback but also questions they have to answer about their plan.
It's a really fun initiative. I mean, I think it's a really good way to kind of get kids out of their own comfort zone, get into public speaking. As it sounds, you plan out a new city, a new town, however you want. You put out different housings, you have to determine different retails, your use allocations. You learn a lot about basic planning and basic city creation. So what about our eco-district proposal? Obviously, I've mentioned a big plan, and it's not going to be traditional.
I was the environmental and equity director, which meant that I basically had to comply by the goals within the RFP that wanted an eco-district. How could we make this community not only profit, but also foster growth and healing and a sense of belonging for future generations?
My role was marketing director. I had to make sure that all the buildings that we had and all the ideas that we had would be marketable to tenants and people would actually want to live there.
I was a financial analyst, and basically it's just numbers, like things like such as the rate of return, city net revenue. So what I had to try to do was increase the amount of money that we generated for the city council in order to improve our plan and get them to accept it.
So I was the neighborhood liaison, and so basically I looked at the letters that the neighborhood would send us and what they really wanted to include in the new district. Everyone is so different with what they really want. I mean, all of the groups here today were incredible, but they really had different vision statements. They had different ideas of what they wanted to incorporate in this district.
It really gives you an insight on how the developers in your neighborhood really come together and how everything kind of plays its own part. And it really gives you insight on how everything works together to form one functioning community. You have to take into account the locals, the traffic, the foot traffic, quite literally everything, and it's just crazy how everything plays an impact on such a small thing.
I think it's really about teamwork. I mean, that's the biggest thing you take away from it. Cooperation and coordinating with different people and different groups. Being able to form a cohesive team and being able to form a cohesive plan is something that everyone can take away from it. Initially, I thought it would be pretty nerve-wracking, but once I got up there, honestly, it was a great experience. I felt all the council members were really welcoming, and they were really open through this. It's not about me trying to pitch my plan and they're trying to oppose it. Really, it's about working together and collaboration, and I think they made me understand that, and it was a great experience.
You're kind of stressed beforehand because you're presenting it in front of so many people, such as the mayor, and for example, one of them was the president of THA, so it's a lot of big people. However, once you're actually on there, you realize it's not that bad, especially when they ask you the questions. You sort of realize they're just trying to work with you. They're not trying to work against you. They want to accept your plan. They just want to understand how can they benefit from it and what can you benefit from it. So it was a nice experience presenting to them.
A lot of people said that they would be nerve-wracked, but I wasn't too nervous. I think it's because I've also done public speaking things like Model UN before. Like Model UN, you have a country policy that you have to stick to. Like urban planning, you have to stick to some sort of policy that your group wants you to stick to. But at the end of the day, when the judges do ask you a question that you really don't know, what comes out is what you strictly believe. Or if you strongly have an idea for how your plan will end up, that's what you're gonna end up saying. I want to say thanks to the people who actually kind of collaborated this whole event. It's one thing to do this on paper and for a school assignment, but to do this in real life and have this as a career, it's got to be scary taking all that advice and everything.
Coming to a city council is not something like everyone can do. There's only 35 of us in this room out of a school of thousands of kids that actually got this opportunity. So I think this urban planning project really taught me so many skills of compromises and things of that nature.
You never really understand what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to city development. I mean, I know there's so many things going on in East Brunswick right now that I really had no clue about, and I really didn't understand how they were happening and going on, but the past couple of weeks, the past 2 months actually, have really shown me what goes on behind the scenes and what it really takes.
Beforehand, I had no idea about anything about urban development or anything like this, but I'm actually kind of interested now, even just local politics in general. So I'm feeling because just based on this, I might go into something in a career with urban development, or even something within a local politics for a career.
It's a tiring process, I'll tell you that, but it was really fun too. It was definitely one of my favorite experiences, hands down, in the past 2 years or so. I really liked presenting. I really liked getting to talk to these different big heads of East Brunswick, because I think it makes you more connected to your own city, and it really teaches you that local government isn't some kind of far away entity. They live in the same houses that you do, and I think that's a really beautiful part about getting together in this way like we did.
It's a great exercise for the students to learn, one, about the roles of each of these professionals, but to be able to really feel and understand the real type of problems that those of us that are involved in it are feeling exactly right now. Each year, these teams seem to be incredibly well poised and able to get up in front of an audience and make their case and defend it to council members that sometimes can be very obstinate and demanding, and they really were able to handle that with ease and really enjoy doing it. The exercise is something that I think is extraordinarily rewarding to us as adults, watching our kids learn these real life issues that we're dealing with every day, and seeing that the schools are doing such a tremendous job putting them in a position where they are poised and able to stand up and deliver right here in public. So I thank Urban Land Institute, I thank the East Brunswick Public Schools, all of our volunteers today who acted as council members, and of course all the students for participating in this really great program.
There's just so much to it that's really, really great, and the project, the kids are just amazing what they do, and as you saw today, or as you'll see today, what they're able to come up with, how they're able to speak in public, but also how they're able to support their ideas. It's just amazing, and as a teacher, I'm so proud of them, and again, I'm sure the parents are so proud too when they see this and what they're able to do.